Welcome to the Beyond Show, the place where history comes to life. Again. Today, we're sitting down with a force of nature. A woman who turned agony into art, betrayal into brilliance, and pain into power. Her life was a riot of color and chaos, defiance and desire. She was her own muse, her own masterpiece. A woman who bled truth onto every surface she touched. And tonight, she's here. Frida Kahlo, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. If this is my welcome, then I walk onto your stage with my head high, my corset tight, and my words as sharp as ever. Let's give them a show they won't forget.
I can't wait for that. Frida, let's start with something raw and real. Did you paint to heal yourself, or to show the world you're suffering?
Both. My pain was a wound that would not close, so I let it bleed onto the canvas. If the world saw suffering, it was only because suffering had made a home inside me.
That's powerful. It makes me wonder, if you had never suffered physically, would your art still carry that same power?
It would be different. But power does not come from pain alone. It comes from truth, and I would have always painted my truth.
Truth is indeed powerful. Speaking of truth, if you could change just one thing about your reality, what would it be?
My body. I would have made it strong, unbroken. But even then, would I still be me?
That's a profound thought. And yet, despite everything, do you feel history has finally done you justice?
History is late to my funeral, but let it bring flowers anyway. I was always my own justice.
I love that defiance. Speaking of justice, if Diego were here today, what do you think he'd say about your fame?
He would pretend not to be surprised. Then he'd steal my tequila and call me a genius.
That sounds exactly like Diego. Now, your art was so personal. Did you ever create something too intimate to share?
Yes, but the most intimate things are not always hidden. Some stare back at you from the canvas.
That's beautifully said. Let's imagine for a moment, if you had been born today, would your art be different?
The tools might change, but my soul would not. I would still paint, still rebel, still love until it burned.
Rebellion seems core to who you are. Do you think people truly understood that in your art?
Some did. Others tried to name it, cage it, make it fit their ideas. But my art is a wild thing. It does not beg to be understood.
Wild thing is right. If you had to describe your art in just one sentence?
Let me think. Perhaps a ribbon around a bomb.
Wow, that might be the perfect description. Now, looking back, what was your greatest masterpiece? Your paintings, your love, or your resilience?
I was my own masterpiece. A work of art stitched together with sorrow, love, and defiance.
That's incredible. Speaking of love, do you believe in soulmates, or was love always a battle for you?
Both. Love is a beautiful war. Diego was my soulmate, my ruin, my resurrection. A love like that is never peaceful. It devours, it scars, it creates.
After all you've been through, what's worse? A broken heart or a broken spine?
A broken heart. The spine you can mend, stitch, brace. But the heart shatters in ways no doctor can fix.
That's painfully true. If you could rewrite one chapter of your life, which would it be?
None. Even my suffering was a brushstroke in the painting of my existence. Without it, I would not be Frida.
What an amazing perspective. There's so much misunderstanding about you. What's something about your love life no one ever got right?
They think I was only Diego's. I was mine first. I loved deeply, wildly, but I was never just a shadow of a man.
You were truly ahead of your time. How do you feel about feminism today? Do you think we've come far enough?
Women are louder, stronger, freer. But as long as they still have to fight, we have not come far enough.
And what about art? Do you think art today can still be revolutionary, or has it become too commercial?
Art will always be a weapon, if the hands that wield it dare to fight.
I have to ask, if you had Instagram, would you post your unibrow selfies or just your paintings?
Both. My face was my art. Let the world take it or choke on it.
That's the spirit. What advice would you give women struggling to find their voice today?
Scream. Even if they cover their ears, scream until the walls crack. Your voice is yours. Never let them steal it.
People often misunderstand strong women. What's the biggest misconception about you?
That I was fragile. Ha! I was made of fire and bone. It was the world that broke against me.
If you could haunt one person, who would it be?
Diego. Just to whisper in his ear at night, "You can never escape me, Panzon."
Ha ha, poor man. But objectively speaking, Diego is only famous because of you. His talent wasn't going to remain interesting over the years like yours. And in terms of appearance, I think you could have found someone much more handsome. So, what attracted you to him?
Ah, Niño, you speak as if love were a thing of logic. Diego was a genius, a force, a universe of art and revolution. He saw the world with hands as big as his appetite, and he painted it with the soul of Mexico itself. That is what I loved. I did not need a pretty man. I needed a man who made my blood boil, who challenged me, who made me feel alive. And as for his fame, perhaps you are right. Perhaps time will leave his murals in the shadows of my self-portraits. But I never needed him to be eternal. I needed him to be mine.
He was really lucky to have the heart of such a woman. And if you had a chance to be reincarnated, would you still be Frida Kahlo?
Of course. Who else could survive being me?
Frida, tells us please, what's one question you wish people would stop asking about you?
Anything that tries to separate my pain from my art. They are lovers, entwined.
That's beautifully put. Speaking of things that combine different elements, if you had to describe your life as a single Mexican dish, what would it be?
Chiles en nogada. Sweet, spicy, rich with history, but always hiding a bite.
What a perfect metaphor. And if you could take a road trip through history with 3 companions, who would you bring?
La Malinche, Emiliano Zapata, and my own mother, to ask her if she ever truly understood me.
What an incredible group that would be. Your art often blended reality and fantasy. What was the most surreal moment of your actual life?
Waking up after my accident, looking down, and realizing my body had become a painting of suffering.
That's heartbreakingly poetic. If you could leave your mark somewhere truly extraordinary, say paint a mural on the moon, what would it show?
A woman unchained, floating, finally free from gravity, from pain, from men.
I get chills hearing that. In today's world, what do you think of social media for sharing art?
I would use it to say, "Here I am, cabrones. Look at me. See me." But I would never let it own me.
That's the spirit. Your image is everywhere now, on clothes, in ads, even Halloween costumes. How does that make you feel?
They take my face, but not my fire. Let them wear me, sell me, mock me. I will still stare back at them unbroken.
With all the new technology available, would you ever trade your brushes for digital tools like an iPad?
My hands want to feel the paint, the weight of the brush, the mess of creation. But give me an iPad, and I would still paint my truth, even if the screen tries to contain me.
I see. If you could collaborate with any modern artist today, who would it be?
Banksy. Art should be a fist in the face of power.
Interesting choice. You know, technology has changed so much. Museums now offer virtual tours. Do you think art should be experienced online or in person?
Art should be lived, smelled, touched with the eyes. A screen is a window, not a door.
And finally, what message would you give young artists struggling to find their voice today?
Stop trying to please. Stop fearing the ugly. Rip yourself open and paint what spills out.
And with that, we reach the end of our time with the unstoppable force that is Frida Kahlo. A woman who taught us that pain can be a palette, that suffering can be a symphony, and that the most revolutionary act of all is to be unapologetically, fiercely yourself. Until next time, keep staring life in the face, keep creating, keep defying. This was The Beyond Show, the place where legends don't just speak, they roar.